going on, everyone? This is Lucas Ross Sports. Lucas Ross, your commentator. We continue our 2022 college football predictions. The West Virginia Mountaineers are up next. I'll give you my thoughts on this team, give you my official prediction, and I will go preview their schedule, and I will go from there. But before we do that, let's look back at 2021 for this West Virginia team. Looking back at 2021 for West Virginia, they went 6-7 overall. This is an okay team last year. They were not a big threat, though, in the Big 12 this year. I think they're going to be up and down again, but I'll give it to my thoughts in just a minute here. Let's go through the offense and defensive rankings here for West Virginia last year. 88th on offense and 45th on defense. Those numbers need to be improved this year. I think offensively they'll be really young, though. Defensively, I think they'll be quite good. Maybe a top 30 defense this year. You never know, but I think these numbers just need to be improved this year just by a little bit. Points per game and opponents per game, 25.2 points on the offensive side of the ball, and then 23.8 given up on the defensive side of the ball. So my thoughts on this West Virginia team is that I think they're going to be up and down this year. Looking at the offense, they lost quite a lot of talent on that side of the ball, but JT Daniels coming over from Georgia this year. I think if he comes to starting quarterback, West Virginia will win some games. Defensively, though, I think they should be good on that side of the ball, but it just comes down to that quarterback position, and it comes down to that offense to score some points. I think it's going to be an up-and-down season, though, for West Virginia as we get to the schedule here now for the Mountaineers for 2022 for the upcoming season. They kick off against Pittsburgh on the road on September 1st. You look at the non-conference schedule, it's really hard. You know, it's a tough non-conference schedule. You get Pittsburgh and then Townsend. That's not a bad one. And then you get Virginia Tech. That is a tough non-conference schedule for West Virginia. But looking at the first game of the year, Pittsburgh on the road. This is not going to be an easy game. But I'm seeing it as a 50-50 game. Pittsburgh does lose Kenny Pickett. Yes, that is the big loss there for West Virginia. But I think this game right here, I don't really see West Virginia going on the road and defeating Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a lot of production coming back this year, and I think they're going to be really good on that side of the ball again. And I got West Virginia starting 0-1 this season. They lose to Pittsburgh here on the road. It's going to be a tough place to play, and I don't really see that being an upset. And they play Kansas here on September 10th. This is not going to be an easy game here. Kansas, I think, is going to be an underdog team this year, but they're obviously not going to win the Big 12, let's be honest. I think they'll have really close games this year like this one. I think West Virginia will really beat Kansas in this game, and I'm not seeing it as a 50-50 game either. I think they do win those two games, and to Kansas, and then Townsend is taking care of business, and they are now 2-1. They play Virginia Tech here on the road on September 22nd. This game is on a Thursday, and they don't really get a big break after that Townsend game. And I think with that, it's going to be really tough to win this game on the road at Virginia Tech. This is a rivalry game here. I'm really glad they brought this rivalry back this year for this season. West Virginia, though, is not clearly the better team. Virginia Tech has the better offense and better defense, I should say. But I can see this one being a 50-50 game, but with it being a 50-50 game, I just see Virginia Tech winning this one. I think West Virginia does lose on the road at Virginia Tech. This will not be a blowout, though. I think it goes either way. But I got the Hokies defeating the Mountaineers in this one by about 10 points or somewhere in that range, and I think it will come down to a one-possession type game. Next game is on the road at Texas. They head to the month of October now, and they are now sitting at 2-2. Texas, though, on the road is going to be a really tough one. I really don't see West Virginia defeating Texas in this game. I don't think they compete at all. I think the offense will be a really young, in the first half of the season. It's just going to take time for that offense to get better. But I don't really see them going on the road and defeating Texas. It doesn't happen. I don't think it will happen. It's just a tough place to play. And Texas should be a lot improved this year as well. So I'm expecting that team to be a lot better this year as well. So I'm expecting this one to not be even close. Second half, I think Texas pulls away. Then they play Baylor here at home on October 13th. This game is also on a Thursday. So West Virginia has two games this year that are on Thursday nights. They don't really get two breaks in between. If you look at the Townsend game, that game is on September 17th, and then they have to play Virginia Tech that Thursday, and it's the same thing. You play Texas on the road, and then you play Baylor the next time. So, I mean, that is not an easy stretch there for West Virginia. And with that, I don't think they'll have enough time to prepare for Texas. I'm going to pick Baylor to win this game. I think with it being at home, it will be a close game. But I think Baylor is clearly the favorite in this one, and I think West Virginia will just be an underdog in this one as well. But it will be a close game. I think it will be a close one, but I don't think West Virginia will be prepared enough. They won't be fired up enough, and I think the Mountaineers will lose their 4th game of the season. They play Texas Tech here on the road next, and Texas Tech, I think, is a team that is going to be somewhat of an underdog this year in the Big 12. I don't really see them being all that big of a threat, though. But this game right here is a tough one to call. It's a coin flip. And with that being a coin flip, I got to go with the road team, and I also got to go with home field advantage. I'm going to go with Texas Tech to win this one. I think West Virginia does lose here on the road at Texas Tech. So I think they do, lose that game by somewhat 10 points or somewhere, maybe 14 points, maybe by a couple touchdowns, but it's going to be a tough place to play, and I think West Virginia does lose that one. So now you're sitting here with a brutal stretch. You got to get things going now. They play TCU here at home, and I think the offense should be better by this time. I think JT Daniels has a big game in this one, even if he's not the starting quarterback. I think, West Virginia's quarterback will do a lot better, but I think they do get a win here over TCU on October 29th here at home. It's a 50-50 matchup, and I'm going to go with home field advantage, though, and West Virginia does get a win finally after a 4-game losing streak. So now they head to the month of November now, 3-5 on their record. They need to get bowl eligible, and they play Iowa State here on the road. This is not going to be an easy game. These are pretty much the 2 youngest teams in the Big 12 this year. I think Iowa State's going to be really young, though, on both sides of the ball. Not really high on this Iowa State team. I could see West Virginia, though, going on the road and defeating Iowa State. I think JT Daniels has a big game in this one, and I think they do defeat Iowa State on the road. I know it's a tough place to play and all, but I think West Virginia has the talent, and I think Iowa State is just going to take a little time before they can get back to winning ways. So I got West Virginia winning that one. Next game is at home against Oklahoma. Oklahoma going to be a team that I'm really high on this year as well. I think defensively they should be really good. Offensively they have a lot of question marks, but I think Oklahoma is really too talented. I really don't see West Virginia defeating Oklahoma in this game. I think Oklahoma is clearly the better team, and I think their defense will step up. I think West Virginia competes in the first half because their offense gets better by the second half of the season, but it won't be enough. I think Oklahoma pulls away, and I think the Sooners will win. And then you play Kansas State here at home on November the 19th. This one is going to be another interesting matchup. Kansas State is a team that I'm not really high on this year. I know a lot of people, think I'm really, overlooking Kansas State just a little bit, but I'm just not really high on this team. I'm not really confident with their schedule either. I think their schedule is really tough, and I think with that being said, this one is a 50-50 matchup, though. And I think I'm going to go with the Mountaineers, though, because I think it's home field advantage and also coin flip type game there. And I think the Mountaineers do get a win there. Then there's that final game on the road at Oklahoma State. Now, I know I already predicted West Virginia to win this game. The reason why is because I think West Virginia has what it takes to pull off an upset. I think they do here at the end of the season. I know it's a tough place to play, but I think on the road at Oklahoma State, I think West Virginia comes out on top. I think they do defeat Oklahoma State. Just the young talent on the defensive side of the ball that Oklahoma State has, I think they're just going to have a lot of, question marks. The secondary is a big concern for Oklahoma State, and I think with that, I think West Virginia does get the win. It will be a shootout type game. I like West Virginia in this game, and I think they do step up. And they finish out 6-6, able to get bowl eligible, but tell you what, I can see this team going 5-7 this year. I could see them going 5-7, and they could possibly lose to Iowa State on the road. This team could possibly go 4-8 as well, but I think 6-6 is a okay prediction there for West Virginia. That concludes my prediction for West Virginia, and that concludes our Big 12 predictions. We will have the standings maybe at the end of the prediction videos. So stay tuned here for more on Lucas Ross Sports.